Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check it out. Much appreciated. And guys, today we're going to talk about why lipless crankbaits don't work very good this time of year. Sort of in that time frame of like April to probably August. There's the dead window for the lipless crankbait category of lures, and we're just going to have a little discussion about that as far as why that is, and some other options that you can use to catch bass in the same type of scenarios that the lipless crankbait produced in earlier and late in the year. So we're going to get to that in today's video. Also, guys, just wanted to give everybody a big thank you out there. Thank you very much for everybody that's taken the time to bookmark and use my Tackle Warehouse link I put in the description. You guys hear me talk about this a lot, but it's a great way to support the channel, and I just wanted to extend a big thank you from me and my family for everybody that's been using that link and keeps that link for any time you need to purchase fishing tackle. We really appreciate that. Okay guys, lipless crankbaits, we've talked about this quite a bit in the channel in the past. Lipless crankbaits are excellent fish catching lures. They catch big fish, they catch numbers of fish. For the most part, there are windows of the year where this category works better. Now the windows, in my opinion, are anywhere between, say, like maybe February into early April, and then again from about September maybe into December. In other words, I like a lipless crankbait anytime the water temperature is sort of in between, say, 45 to maybe upper 50s, 56, 57 degrees. Whether it be in the spring or the fall, they work really good. But for some reason, one of the things that I've noticed in my bass fishing over the course of decades of fishing is like once that water temperature starts to warm up around 60 degrees and it starts, getting higher in that area, usually, like I said, between like April, for some reason they just don't bite them very good. Not to say you can't catch one on them, because you can catch fish on a hot dog with a hook on it if the bass are hungry enough. But for the most part, you just don't hear much about a lipless crankbait from about late mid part of April into late summer. They just simply don't work very good. Now, a lot of it I don't quite understand that, because one of the things about a lipless crankbait, it's very versatile, and it is used to a great degree as a reaction strike bait. In other words, you can fish it fairly fast horizontally through the water column, and it generates a reaction strike. And reaction strike fishing is very productive in the summertime and the warmer months. So by all indications, they ought to bite it, but for some reason they just don't. So some of my favorite places, now what I want to talk about is where I like to fish a lipless crankbait, and how you can go with a different lure category at the time of year I'm talking about and still catch fish. Now, for me, when I'm fishing a lipless crankbait, it's on two different type of areas. I'm usually fishing it over some type of grass, if there's grass in the lake, or I'm fishing it on some type of flatter bank. Flat rocky banks, clay, sand, anything like that. Flat bank is really, really good for a lipless crankbait, as is over the grass. Now, the fish still use those areas. Even as it warms up, the fish will still be on flat areas, and they will still be on grass areas throughout the period where the lipless doesn't work. And a couple different things that you can do that I have found that sort of substitutes for a lipless crankbait is a square bill crankbait and a chatterbait. A square bill crankbait, I'm not really sure what it is, but you can take a square bill crankbait and fish it over those same flat areas that you would with a lipless crankbait, and it just has something to do with the profile of the bait and the action of the bait. But a square bill, same places you've been fishing a square bill or a vibrating bait, you can go back May to August with a square bill and catch fish on the flatter, rocky, sandy, gravelly type areas. Now, if you're catching fish on a lipless crankbait over grass, say submergent hydrilla and milfoil, you can go back over those same type of areas with a chatterbait this time of year or as it warms up, and still catch fish. One of my favorite techniques to catch fish in the summertime over submergent grass is fishing a chatterbait just over the top of that grass, trying to keep it in contact with the top of it. And as it gets warmer in the summer, that grass usually grows closer to the surface, so you don't have to fish it that deep. But again, there's something about the vibration and the profile of a chatterbait that they will bite it when they won't bite the lipless crankbait. Now, it's sort of one of those mysterious things in fishing. It's like bass fishing has got so many things out there that there's really no explanation for. We don't understand. Nobody's been able to get inside of a bass's brain to figure out what creates or generates strikes. So for a large degree, we have to figure it out through our time on the waters, experimentation, catching fish, not catching fish, changing up. And that's just sort of what I have found, guys. So for me, the point of the video is don't waste a lot of time fishing a lipless crankbait between like now until the end of summer. You know, change it up with a square bill or chatterbait, and go back to your lipless crankbaits again. Like I said, late September, October. You know, when that water starts to cool back down into the 50s, and just a lot more productive at then. Another thing with that, a lipless crankbait is a wind-generated bait. You really need the more wind, the better on a lipless. It's like I don't care if you're fishing it over grass or shallow flats. It's the wind is your friend on this particular bait category. So anyway, just wanted to run that by you. Hope you guys are well. We'll talk later.